Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation.
Yeah.
Not much hair this time.
Not much hair. Not much.
Well, because I
I
got
got
a
a
small haircut recently.
Okay.
Oh, you too? I got a bigger haircut, apparently.
Please
don't have
open
as
your
much to-
holy books of Lemurism.
Oh, I actually have to say the page this time because we're still on the interlude. We're not.
That's right.
We're not at chapter
look.
3 just yet.
A
Goddamn.
look inside the Empire is where we're
Not
at.
quite.
As far
To
as
page 117 of the physical copy.
Okay, so Moon, what fucking page of the Bookwalker? That's it. It's not Comixology. I keep wanting to say Comixology.
Yeah, no.
Bookwalker.
129.
129. Shim. Where we at on the fancy schmancy candle?
138. My lord.
Right. My lord.
My lord.
Yeah,
My lord.
My lord. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just a consolation prize.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Yes, my lord.
my lord.
I don't know why. Just saying my
Lord.
lord is so satisfying.
Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper.
My lord.
Doctor.
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 Whoa, doctor.
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 Jet trooper.
Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper.
Bounty hunter.
All right,
Stormtrooper.
so funny story. We're gonna do a thing. I'm gonna do a thing right now.
Mhm.
All right, so really quickly, everybody, I want
Yes.
everybody to go and just, I want everybody to go here. I want everybody to go here right now and just leave a very quick get good. Just GITGUD. Just right now. Just right now,
and
get
this-
good. Just
Eh?
let them know. Just let them know Lord Menu said get good. Lord Menu or Lady Akatsuki. Whichever one you're feeling.
A message from our glorious emperor. Get good.
I mean, you can spam the nat 20, but I have sound alerts turned off. I just need to see this.
Oh, in the chat.
I need to see
Hold on,
not
I'm
in his chat. In his chat. Not
Yeah,
ours.
yeah.
I
In
just
his-
sent the links in the chat.
I'm
The
gonna do it.
link
Hold on,
is
I went
in the chat.
I've seen the link. I'm being a little funny with it.
Toho.
Glorious emperor.
I don't think.
Is that spelled right? I don't
the
think it's
fa-
spelled
the
right.
Well,
funny
it loads
thing is,
fast enough.
He does not understand what he is doing, and that's the best part. So, the fact is, just I need to see it. I need to see it. There's 4 people in here right now. I love that he's taking the thing. He hasn't figured out. He still has the fucking arrowhead. The dumbass. The absolute dumbassery. Yeah, this is. Yeah. Oh no.
All right, I'm waiting. I got it now. I'm waiting. Oh no, he's
There we go.
dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's deaf.
Oh, he's
well,
dead.
he's dead.
All right, everybody needs to type "get good" into the chat because he just died. Please do.
I just did. I hope I'm not too late.
There's a
It took
6
a
second
while of the
delay.
stream.
A message
Yes.
from our
Yeah, okay, I
from our
see you.
glorious
Chub Chub
empire.
Supreme.
Chub Chub Supreme.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Get good.
I'm scared if I ever start streaming now because it's like, okay, he's not on our streams anymore.
The
He's doing his
beautiful
own
part-
thing.
the beautiful
we gotta go
part
tell
is-
him to get good.
Here's the beautiful part is he has to start all over from the very beginning. He has to start the whole fucking game all over.
Chris Redfield, shaky text.
Yeah!
Oh, you finally see him?
This is what you get for playing on hard mode, dummy. Somebody yeah, how many people do we have watching? We need to get more
7.
people saying get good. Just type get good. Come on. I believe in you
No.
guys.
I did it. Me and I guess Moon, or not Moon.
Yo,
Shim did it.
Yeah, 2 people. I see 2 people.
Moon
I know
didn't
we have
do it.
more. Come on,
I'm working on
guys.
it.
This is our one chance to troll.
We've got one shot. You cannot miss your chance.
This is a
Trying
friend.
to
This is
troll
a
the
friend.
dice.
Of the,
Yeah,
this is
you
a
know.
friend of the channel. We're doing this on purpose. This is somebody who was trolling me earlier when I was playing Resident Evil 4 on hardcore, and they were talking all this shit. And now that they're playing RE1, they've never played a Resident Evil game in their life, and I'm like, all right, step up, talk shit, get hit. Playing RE1 on hard.
Taking notes. Don't ever play Resi 1.
Oh, it's not. No. Here's the thing. It's not Resident
You guys
Evil.
verified
play it.
accounts
Nah,
only.
yeah.
Yes,
I'm
and it takes
Here's
some
the
getting
thing.
used to.
Here's
Never
the
play
thing.
it on hard
Picked
mode.
up the arrowhead, did not go into the graveyard to actually place it in the place where they needed to. Dude, we should. All right, Moon, 100%. We could just do commentary on the Fat Dog channel of this, and that would be like great.
Commentary
we
of
could just straight up do
the-
commentary.
Guys,
stream
yeah,
that could be the
guys,
stream.
guys,
That could
guys,
just
we're
be
bored of the
stream.
light novel stream. We're just doing a commentary on this person's stream. We're reacting to someone else's stream while
Literally
doing
just
our own
Edgar
stream.
commentary.
Boom.
Like, we lied. It's not a Slime Light Novel stream. It's literally judging Edgar's
Not
stream.
anymore.
Not anymore.
I have outed the deal. You better pray I don't do it
alter
again.
any further. Yeah.
Choice, we're not doing the right character for that. But
Oh my god. Get good. All right. So. All right.
there it is.
I am just. All right. So I knew I was gonna be giving him some guff on this, but yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Enough guff.
Sucks to suck. Oh man, sucks to suck.
He has verified accounts. Only act. Oh, okay. He tried to get a dummy account, I guess, to do it.
Oh yeah.
Your account must be verified in order to tell him to get good.
Oh, is that what he's doing? Well, dude, instead of saying verified account, just be like followers only. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
what
then it would
is?
force you.
I
Yeah,
mean, robots can still follow your account, so
Oh, okay.
and
Mhm.
comment. Yeah.
How do you get verified?
you just add a phone number to the account.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's not that difficult. I mean, it's
So even
not.
then, it's well. I mean,
But
you,
what if
you
you don't
have a
have a
limited
phone
amount,
number?
I suppose. But
What if you don't have
Yeah.
a phone?
Sucks to say.
Well, you guys
what
don't
if
have
you're,
phone.
What if you're not old
You're
enough to
the-
have a phone? Is my question.
Then I guess you don't have a verified account.
There you go. Well,
Then you probably are too young
I
to be
love
watching
that
that
he's
game
going over
anyway.
here to this closet just to waste another fucking. Then don't pick up the dagger, dumbass.
Too late.
All right. Anyway. All right. So Shim, now that we've
Yes.
judged him for a while now,
Also, I told him
Yeah,
if he kills the
away.
thing before he gets close enough for him to use the dagger, he doesn't lose the dagger.
it doesn't fucking matter. He's an idiot. So yeah. Anyway. So as I was saying,
But
Shim, I think it is your turn to take over. My announcements. Yes, Fat Dog announcements. Quick Fat Dog announcements. Had a conversation with Calvin. The deadline for Slime 9 is the end of next month at the very latest. End of next month. We will be releasing Slime 9, especially because I told him, "Look, we're done waiting. The audience is done waiting." And I go, "You do realize when Slime 8 came out, right?" He goes, "No." I go, "Dude, it's almost been 2 years." He goes, "What?" I go, "Slime 8 came out
Yeah.
July 12th, 2021. It's been almost 2 years. Their patience has been ecstatic. It has been insane. Has
Extensive.
been extensive.
Amazing.
Has been
but exhausted.
extensive and exhaustive. It's time. Let's get this finished. We need to get on the ball. So that's what we're gonna do. Tomorrow, I am having a conversation with Fel tomorrow about season 2. and putting together the writing staff for season 2. It's going to be myself and Fel, and we're looking for at least a second or third member of the writing staff. Here's the thing. Moon, as much as I was joking around, probably not going to be you. You work
Fair.
too much.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have enough free time to join us on the writing staff for season 2.
Yeah. Unless I can start getting paid full time by all this
And
stuff.
we need people that have a bit more freedom in their schedule. And if you're wanting to apply to be on the writing staff for season 2, you need to have a massive love for slime and an extensive knowledge of slime. That's what needs to happen. You need to, and what I mean by extensive knowledge of slime, you need to be at least read up on the light novels for slime, and you need to be read up on the read up on the manga for slime. You need to have watched the anime for slime. We expect you to do your homework when it comes to slime. So watch the anime.
There will be tests.
Well, watch the anime.
Yeah, the writing.
Here's the thing. Sub and dub.
Oh.
Yeah, sub and dub, because we're going to be pulling jokes that come from sub and dub. Here's the thing. Team 4-Star, a lot of their jokes come from both the sub and the dub. Like, a lot of their jokes come from the sub and the dub of the material. So there's that. We do have our own stuff. We are also going to expect you guys to read up and bone up on the homework for... we are expecting you guys to know do your homework on Log Horizon Abridged as well. You need to have your homework for that. So you're going to have to watch LHA because that's connected to slime. So
Oh yeah, I still need to do that.
So you will have to have
on
that.
my list, yeah.
So while we're looking for people, it's one of the jokes gonna what? I don't understand. Ryuma, you're gonna have to. Did the sentence not get fully typed out?
Oh, I think he fat figured enter maybe.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
do that a couple times too. It happens.
uh,
What about the spin-offs?
the spin-offs may be a thing if we're getting there, but for now, at least season 2.
I do have a couple jokes for spin-offs.
We do have some ideas in the work, but we're not going to talk about those ideas with anybody that is not on the writing staff. We're going to keep all of our stuff hush hush. Those are things that you, the general public, will know about when we get to them.
Mm-hmm.
That having been said, we're looking forward to it because we've got some good ideas. We've got some fun ideas. We're definitely eager to get to them, but it's gonna be slow going because if it takes a while, if we have to piecemeal it, we will piecemeal it. If we have to fundraise for the project on an individual basis, then that's what we'll have to do. But we're going to be paying our staff for season 2 moving forward. Everybody getting paid, not just the editors and the writing staff. The actors are getting paid as well. That's just how it's going to be. All right? So, but that's not the be-all, end-all. Guys, I can't stress this enough. It is very, very, very important to get eyeballs on these episodes. The more people that are watching it, the more views we get on there, the more we can justify sponsors. And if we get sponsors to fund these videos, the faster we can put these out for you guys. Because the more we can get these episodes backed funding-wise, the better it is for everybody. So, it's important for that reason as well. All right. Secondly, tomorrow night, I'm going to be sitting down with 2 of these 3 chuckleheads. Of course, the 2 chuckleheads in question that I'm talking to are the 3 pale people on the...
The 3 pale people.
Yeah, the 3 pale faces.
The pale musketeer, the pale musketeers, the 3 pale musketeers.
Graham just has really good lighting. His lighting is the best of all of us.
The 3
that's why.
pale people on here. The 3 pale people on here plus fail. And we will be sitting here and talking about Konosuba. We'll be hashing out Konosuba. So we're working on the Konosuba one shot and all that stuff. That's what's going down on this side of things here. That's what we'll be working on. I don't have any plans to work on the slime spinoffs at the moment with the Slime Diaries anime. If we get to them, we get to them. But we'll see. It all depends on... I'm working on the main continuity stuff right now because you have to understand I don't know how we will fit that stuff into the narrative for where we're going with things in between where things are handled with between season 1 and season 2 of Slime Abridged because of how things go with that. We may
To
be
my
able to fit
knowledge,
other
it
stuff.
is like kind of, I think, in the middle of season 1.
Yes, but here's the thing. With the Abridged, that's a whole different structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a whole different monster. I'm at knowledge for jokes.
The whole
and
different
the
slime,
regular
if you
Abridged.
will.
It's a
North.
different thing. It's a different thing. It's a whole different set of structure to play with. So it might be one of those things where it's like, oh, Rimuru gets nostalgic and decides, hey, I want to revisit this world. So let me just put everything back. But like,
Or more
better.
Or even like, remember the time we did this thing?
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'd like to revisit this world, but with nostalgia goggles. And it's like the world Rimuru wanted it to be.
Or
Maybe.
maybe like it's Rimuru season 2 Rimuru, but like, wait, I did that?
The
And then
world,
see, as
or
the
maybe,
episode
maybe it's
playing out.
basically the world according to Rimuru, you know? It's just the peaceful world according to Rimuru with nostalgia glasses on, the nostalgia blinders. You know, I don't know. We could have all
Oh.
sorts of ways that we do it. Dibs
That
on
actually
voicing
reminds
the
me.
uptight rival teacher from the OVAs. Daxter, you can't call dibs on jack shit.
Your enthusiasm is
Your
appreciated, though.
enthusiasm is appreciated, but no one calls dibs on anything.
You gotta earn it.
This is nothing. You auditioned for everything like everyone else does. And funny
Easy.
story.
Yeah.
Funny fucking story. Who said any of my auditions were gonna be public?
Ooh.
Yeah. Just for that. All my auditions for that just became in-house. Ha.
I thought you were going to be like, oh, just for that. All my
I'll
auditions are going to be public.
Yeah.
Oh, just for that? Only
just
you
for that.
three get to
You know what,
voice. Wait,
Daxter?
what?
You know what? Just for that, I just gave that voice to Sonic. Nyeh.
Schmear.
Schmeh.
And then it's like, hey, you remember that rival teacher? I'm gonna be like, wait, who? Daxter
Yeah,
did what?
exactly. None of us remember now.
And I'm like, Daxter, what did you do? And it's gonna be like months, if not years from now. It's like, what the
None
hell?
of us remember. Yeah.
That actually reminds
All
me
right.
real quick.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the book.
did do the 12 Days of
I was
Christmas.
kidding. Well,
It was a
I
joke!
wasn't.
So actually, real quick before we get started, I
Oh,
did
no.
remember the Christmas idea from last week.
Oh no!
And I did actually write up a
I
thing.
remember you. I made you guys write lyrics for Christmas songs. I remember that.
I
but
do have something for the 12
at
days
the
of
end.
Christmas.
at
That's
the
fine.
12
that's
days of Tempest. Yes.
fine. Yes.
Moon sent me his lyrics too. Yes.
Oh, I haven't. I can send you the lyrics right now.
Oh no.
I have not
Oh,
done
no.
that yet.
It's too early in the morning for this shit.
It's
Morning?
9. It's what?
It's 8:30 p.m. exactly.
Mhm.
And I still haven't
8:30.
had my coffee.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They're playing Black Ops 4 without me right now.
That's racist.
They are. I can't believe it. They're playing zombies
Oh.
without me. I can't believe them.
That's extra
Oh.
racist. All right.
Mhm.
Shem, please, for the love of God, take us through the interlude.
Okay.
I just wanted to talk about
Uh,
writing.
I mean, that's fair. It's your channel, Bubble. So.
Well, no, it's not my channel. My
Sorry, it's your It's your
It's
stream.
the Fat Dog
should
channel.
say.
It's my
That's
stream on the
true.
Fat Dog channel. Don't say it's my channel. Boy, the wrath of
That's
Tony and
true.
Chibi will come down upon me so fast.
They don't watch this anyway.
Interlude. A
Just
look
because
inside the
it's
Empire.
true.
He's out of line, but he is right.
Hey, he's out of line, but he's right. Like,
Sorry, Shem.
I am out of line a lot of the time.
well, no, he was, but
That's also right.
But he's also right.
Yes.
Anyway, interlude. A look inside the Empire. The Eastern Empire, officially the Nazca Namirium Almeria United Eastern Empire, was one of the oldest nations in the world. Fucking first sentence. Its history extended back centuries, as the story goes. It already laid the foundations for an empire as early as 2,000 years ago. Its roots can be traced back to the small kingdom of Nazca, a realm that had spent many years absorbing and merging with the magical kingdom of Namrius, right? Namrius. Followed by the Eastern Federation of Almeria to create the current empire. In the background of this conquest was a massive, overwhelming military Nazca cultivated. And now, under the name of the United Emperor Ludora Namel Nazca, the empire had enjoyed a reign of power for the past 2 millennia, never allowing its annexed nations to rebel. Every member nation was the full and complete vassal of the empire, subject to its absolute rule. This was how the Nazca Namrium Almeria United Eastern Empire, generally referred to as the Eastern Empire, operated.
Sorry.
It is said.
Sorry.
What was that?
I just looked over
No,
and saw
no,
that
no,
Edgar
no,
tried to
don't
go out
worry
the
about
front door, and
Oh.
now the dog is in the front hall because he's a
You're
dumbass.
still watching that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's part of the
Oh,
channel.
Can't believe you.
I
has
don't
to
think
support
I
the
don't
other
think he
channels.
knows where the arrowhead goes. Still, he still hasn't figured. No, he still hasn't figured out where the fucking arrowhead goes. I'm sorry.
Oh, poor guy.
Talk about an airhead.
Oh, good. See, I'm not watching the stream, so I don't get the point.
I love it. I love what I see. What
Yeah.
you did there.
Mhm. Should I continue?
Should you continue?
Yes.
I don't know. Are we watching another stream or are we reading
I don't think
the
we can
book?
put the other stream on here.
I think Moon and I are just gonna have a private text conversation of where we're
Oh,
judging. Edgar.
Probably, yeah. I'm also
Silent
texting
judging.
another person, so
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my
Where was he?
Dragonute Gabiru.
Dragonute. It was said that the aim of the Empire's leader was absolute dominance, and that was reflected in its unbroken imperial bloodline, the current emperor that had been granted the name Ludora as well. No matter how things worked in practice, the emperor was always preferred absolute power, according to conventional wisdom. The military, too, adopted this might makes right approach, taking a unique stance and guaranteeing promotion for anyone who could prove their power. And even now, as the rumors among the Empire's subjects went, the only reason the Empire had not plowed through the Forest of Jura yet was because they were still not prepared for it. Approximately 350 years ago, the Empire attempted and failed to subdue Veldora, the Storm Dragon, costing it an entire city. Those who managed to rile that fickle dragon were not given the time to regret it as they perished within that city. It was among the largest in the land at the time, boasting a population of 100,000, a fortress city nestled against the Forest of Jura's eastern side. The Empire had taken a century to build it up as a beachhead for the invasion of the forest. It was a military base, ready to expand the Empire's territory once they made it through Jura. Driven with ambition, the military leaders of the time came up with a plan, one that would take them beyond the forest. It was the fervent desire of the Empire, cultivated over 100 years, and despite its prosperity, there was only one reason why it had dreams of territorial expansion: because the Emperor willed it. There was no other motive, and none of the citizens voiced disagreement. The plan proceeded smoothly, the Empire's armies building themselves up in order to prove their might. Then, in the name of the Emperor, the order was given to begin the invasion. But thanks to a foolish idea that occurred to one squadron leader, the entire operation was crushed. "If we're going through the Forest of Jura anyway," reasoned this leader, "we might as well tame its master. No giant lizard is going to be a threat to us." It was an incredibly ill-advised decision, and it led them all to their destruction. What he and his troops did exactly has never been accurately reported. Anyone who could have recorded the incident or stored those records was turned into ash. Oh. And so the dream of the Empire, the ambition of its emperor, was burned to cinders. That brought us to the present day. The Empire spent a long time laying low, tending to the wounds Valdora gave them, but the Emperor never gave the okay to continue the invasion. Trespassing into the Forest of Jura was never permitted. The power they spent 350 years building up patiently waited for its chance to roar. Now let's turn our attention to the Empire's political structure. In the Empire, there exists a political administration and a military branch, the two wings supporting the Empire's rule. The Emperor personally serves as both the sovereign of the political administration and the commander-in-chief of the military, a massive amount of power for one individual to wield. This administration contained a House of Lords, a legislature populated by the nobility who enjoyed a great deal of power. On the surface. In reality, though, the nobles were given no decision-making rights. They were granted prestige and vested interests, but they played little more than a bureaucratic role, rubber-stamping the will of the emperor. This House of Lords was a hereditary system, its members becoming lords without any vote required. No matter how lofty their personal ambitions were, it was impossible for them to gain the power to make them a reality. All imperial territory was the property of the emperor, who lent it out to the nobility and let them manage it, but no more. The nobility was supported by teams of highly educated government officials. These were the bureaucrats who proposed plans and policies with the full backing of the emperor behind them, and they subsequently all made pledges of loyalty to their leader. The same was true of the military. Since the emperor himself, and not the state, had authority over them, it was a de facto personnel or personal force owned by him alone. Even regional cities annexed by the empire lived by his rule. All private property was seized and then lent back by the emperor. The defense forces protecting these lands were similarly on loan for this emperor, provided solely out of his personal compassion. This policy successfully quelled any rebellion out in the empire's far reaches. It was made possible by the overwhelming difference in national power. The empire was willing to accept surrender, but this came at the forfeiture of all other rights. Anyone who objected to this could expect a violent purge. It would be thoroughly eradicated, ensuring no one would harbor similar ideas again. That was how order was maintained across the empire. The carrot and the stick, terror against overwhelming military might, and guaranteed safety upon becoming an imperial subject. These two tactics were thoroughly managed in equal measure, preserving peace in the empire for generations. Normally, it would be impossible for a single person to rule over a nation this vast. In fact, look over the past 2,000 years of history, and you won't find a single occasion where the emperor's rule was ever put into question. Power always remained at the top after every transition, no matter how you thought about it. It was strange. If you chalked it up to the great work of the empire or the emperor, it essentially meant he was a god, a being beyond the human realm. We now turn to the empire's military force, broadly divided into three main divisions. The Armored Division, a force of mechanized soldiers managed by teams of technicians. This was a modern armored force possessing tanks and more, symbolizing the technological might of the empire. The Magical Beast Division, a collection of beasts taken from around the world, inside and outside emperor or empire territory. Controlling and wielding their powers made this division a symbol of the empire's power. 3. The Composite Division, a collection of off-spec mechanized soldiers and crazed magical beasts incapable of group activity. They are too focused on themselves to function as a group, but their powers are a wild card, and together they could become a serious threat. They symbolize the heart of the empire, still beating young. If the Western nations relied primarily on swords and sorcery, the empire's focus on magic and science made it the pioneers of a new era. The presence of otherworlders played a mighty role in the empire's expanded military. One imperial subject took a particular interest in these visitors and the cosmic knowledge they held. He was named Ghidorah, a great sorcerer who served in the imperial palace for many years, and despite his wizened appearance, he was an energetic man. He had a thirst for knowledge, not just magical either, and he relished chatting with people from other worlds. Through them, he learned that this other world also consisted of multiple countries, and unlike this one, the inhabitants found ways to overcome differences in opinion and language to live together. There was no magic in that world, causing it to grow and evolve in quite a different direction from this one. Ghidorah had lived for a long time. Whenever he approached the end of his natural lifespan, he used the self-invented mysterious arts, reincarnation, to resurrect himself over and over again. It allowed him to observe otherworlders over many years, granting him huge stores of knowledge and even a command of several languages from the other world. Whenever a new otherworlder came along, he'd always have them brought to him, and he'd put them under his protection. The Empire had been collecting more than just magical beasts from around the world, and Ghidorah advocated for otherworlders in the imperial court, receiving permission to do with them what he wanted. Otherworlders with special skills or knowledge were welcome in the Empire, and their population was far beyond that of any other nation in the world. That explained why the Empire's culture and characteristics were so heavily influenced by them. Many of these people had unique skills as well, and the Empire conducted much research on them. In this aspect as well, their military technology had developed to the point that it was surpassed by no one. In the Empire, the profession of knight was obsolete. The concept of fighting cavalry had gone away. Instead, the military adopted new tactics that took advantage of their modernized weaponry. Soldiers whose very bodies had been mechanized were known as mechanites, treated as the star players in Imperial battle. These characteristics played out most vividly in the Empire's armored division, but otherworld knowledge also played a role in the magical beast division. The otherworlders had brought with them knowledge of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, a macromolecular organic substance that contained the genetic information for living beings. This knowledge made it possible to analyze the powers of magical beasts on a scale like none before, and that further branched out into other research. Finally, the composite division was home to a large number of powerful otherworlders, each wielding their own unique skills, and one derided their battle strength at their own peril. It was a masterful manipulation of factors like unique skills and otherworld technology that let the Empire create such an insurmountable military. It was no exaggeration to say that Ghidorah's passion for the subject had expanded the force's strength all by itself. In addition to the three main divisions Ghidorah helped cultivate, was a paramilitary force charged with guarding the Emperor himself, the Imperial Guardians, a small company of only 100, and one of the few forces left that called their members knights. The uninformed observer would assume this custom to be a relic carved over from antiquity, but that was not the case. After all, the Imperial Knights who staffed this troop were the best of the best, handpicked from those who stood above the pack in each division. Some were otherworlders even, proving the Empire did not discriminate based on bloodline or birthplace. To the very end, the motto of the Empire was, might makes right, and there was no better evidence of that than what was illustrated here. These knights gained their position purely through power alone, not the blood or influence gained over generations. As a symbol of their superiority, all members of the Imperial Guardians were granted legend-class weapons and armor, the very best equipment handled by the very best fighters, created a tremendous synergy effect, giving this team of 100 more pure fighting power than an entire division. They were also guaranteed the best treatment in the Empire. Every one of them was a high-level military officer, and in special missions, they were afforded at the least the authority of an army colonel. They were the pride of the military and the greatest force in the whole Empire. So, the Empire had, in essence, 4 military divisions. Each of them could only be led by those with a convincing talent for the position. They needed to be recognized as the strongest by anyone who saw them. How did they prove this? By rank-based duels within the divisions. The system allowed lower-ranking members to challenge their superiors under the arbitration of a third party, and these rankings were thus in a constant state of flux. The duels had to satisfy a few conditions, of course, before they were accepted. They were forbidden during military maneuvers, and witnesses were required for them to be certified. Also, if you challenged someone and lost, you had to wait a year before mounting another challenge. The same was true if you killed your opponent, but the higher-ranked defender was allowed to kill a challenger without penalty, so this contest wasn't something you embarked on lightly. In a way, this was the ultimate embodiment of the Empire's might makes right credo, subjugating your opponent with overwhelming force. The fact that the Imperial Guardians saw no end of would-be new members challenging their way in showed that this imperial ideal was etched into the very hearts of its subjects. Ranks within the military were therefore strictly defined, but Ghidorah didn't count in this hierarchy. He held a unique position in the realm, treated as a kind of non-imperial stranger by the Empire. Appointments to the Imperial Guardians were deliberated over by a panel that Ghidorah wasn't a part of, and the commander of each division was picked from the Guardian roster. Whenever one stepped down, a replacement would be picked from this group of 100. Anyone who wanted to move up among the Guardians had an equal chance, so those with real ability wouldn't get buried under the masses. They were free to hone their powers, silently waiting for a chance to emerge into the spotlight. Appointed to the very top of the Guardians was a marshal, while the 3 people under them were the 3 generals of the Guardians. You automatically became a marshal if you hit the number 1 spot in the pecking order, while generals of the Guardians were named by a committee consisting of the Emperor, the current marshal, and Ghidorah. It took more than brute strength to run a military force, after all. Still, any general who became a division commander was always going to be the strongest member of their division, since, by definition, everyone serving in one was going to be weaker than an imperial knight. To outside observers, the marshal and their generals stood at the peak of the Empire. And if the Imperial Guardians received legend-class gear, this quartet naturally had to own something even better. These were the Empire's greatest hidden treasures, the most potent of gear, used to surpass other nations in ancient times, god-class gear, in other words. Possessing multiple examples of semi-mythological gear quite literally meant you were supporting the very dignity of the Empire. This was the ultimate in weaponry and armor, items an average person wouldn't even be allowed to touch. It was said one needed to have certain ability or capabilities to do to so much as pick them up. Only when the gear accepted you, it was said, would it unleash its true force. The greatest of power, supported by the ultimate in gear. Truly, they were invincible, the foundational rock the Empire was built upon. And then, something changed in the Empire. For the first time in decades, a commander actually lost a ranking challenge, and with that, the colossal responsibility of keeping the disorganized composite division a coherent force. He was felled by a man who had made truly historical rise through the ranks. Having enlisted for the first time not even a year ago, mowing down one experienced fighter after the other without a single loss, now the young man stood at one of the Empire's loftiest peaks. His name was Yuki Kagarizaka, and with his rise, the pace of human events would rocket in high gear. Jesus, was that like a fucking chapter from one of the Warhammer books? Jesus Christ. It was not a single word of dialogue in that entire thing.
Moon?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
my
read
turn to
Warhammer
read?
books, but
No,
Jesus.
I'm saying Moon, would you like to give your critique of that? It was like, how does it compare to Warhammer 40K?
Oh no, that's pretty fucking accurate. The first
mean,
the
Okay,
first book
all
I
right,
ever tried to read. There's a bit of dialogue.
Edgar, don't be a pussy. Go kill the zombie.
Absolutely, fuck's sake.
Well,
You have a gun. Use it.
But I have
have
limited
a
amount of
gun.
ammo.
Also,
I mean,
true.
they did
also
use
true.
the fucking word Imperial Knights.
Here's
so-
the thing. Here's the thing. For your first playthrough, you should not play on hard. Edgar's an idiot. Here's the thing with hard.
I was
Here's
on
the thing
medium.
here's the thing with hard. They're not. He's like. Here's his thing with hard. He's like, oh, they're bullet sponges. No, this is Resident Evil. It's survival horror. Here's
This
what
is
it
an actual built game.
And Resident Evil 1 is a survival horror. Survival is the aspect. It's not bullet sponge. He's used to bullet sponge combat. That's not how they made games back in the day. No. Enemies hit harder.
Oh, this
and
is
there's
OG.
And oh yeah, this is Resident Evil 1. OG. Now,
They
this
wanted
is the
you to get your
remake.
money's worth.
This is the remake back in 2004. The ammo economy is severely less. And he's so dumb. Dude, the thing is, what's off camera is scarier than what's on camera. He's so stupid. Dude, he is so fucking stupid. Okay. Yeah. All right, here's the thing. Edgar did not actually check out your and I's gameplay. He said between the two of us, he watched an hour grand total. It is obvious. Yeah, he doesn't understand that ink ribbon is the only way that you can save. You need to tell him that ink ribbon is the only way that you can save in the game. You have to use an ink ribbon on a typewriter, and that's the only way that you can save. If he dies right now, he goes back to the very beginning of the game and has to start all over again.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's gotta blow.
It's like every moment, every step I take, they're judging me.
No, he can't go through that. He needs an old lock.
No,
He needs
he's
an
supposed to step with his left foot there, not
He
his
can't
right
go
foot.
through that. It's an armor key. He doesn't have the armor key. He's a dumbass. He just trapped himself in this hallway. And he only has... Yeah.
Save one for yourself. Just restart your game.
Yep, needs a lockpick for that one.
Yeah. Guys, we're just...
Oh, he's still kicking.
Yeah. He
Gotta go
doesn't-
back. That zombie's not dead.
So
man.
we got 3.
Yeah, he's got... By the way, that locked door that's over there... I mean, he's got the jukes, but that's about all he's got. That
The
locked door that's
jukes.
over there...
I got my
lock-
dukes.
Yeah.
Should I post a link to the?
No.
Oh no, you already posted a link
The-
to the
the
chat
tutorial.
or to that
Alright,
stream.
guys, here's the thing. We're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
only going to go for at least another hour. We're gonna stop at 10, not 10:50, not 10:30 today, because we're gonna
Okay.
let this play out and just have fun. We're just gonna chill with this. All right.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Are we reading?
we are reading.
Are
We are reading.
Okay.
It is time for
Mhm.
the evil empire. It is time for the evil empire.
hmm
All right.
The Imperium of Man.
The Imperium of Man. All
My
right. So
glorious
Mm.
empire.
there's at least 2 images right now. So
Yes.
we're gonna be on
Two?
here.
I
We're
only saw
gonna be
one.
on this chapter for a while.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that's covering the empire.
Mm.
The empire is gonna be a big deal. The empire is gonna make its move. Then we have chapter 5. Yeah, he doesn't have streamer mode turned on. I don't think he's actually set up for streamer stuff on Discord because he's getting Discord noises. He doesn't also understand that he went the long way around like an idiot on. Yeah. He's.
Is it like
I
his
just wa-
first streams
I-
or?
It's
think
his
it's his first
time
game.
playing Resident Evil on
Mm.
like in general, and
In front
he's-
of people?
Well, no, he's just
No, in general.
first time playing Resident Evil in general.
And in front of people
Here's the
and
thing.
on hard mode and.
Yeah. And so
Oh.
A lot
he
of
does
ants.
not know. He does not know what he's doing, and it shows.
lot
You
of V
fool! You fell for the
The
classic.
funniest thing
A lot of
is he
cherries and
just
V
tried-
cards here.
He's making it look like he's like, oh man, I could shoot these crows, and I'm like, yeah, you should be glad you didn't shoot those crows.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
I'm
What
assuming
happens when you
something
shoot
bad
the crows?
happens.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
what
crows
happens?
will attack you.
I mean,
Yeah, and if you
if you're a
shoot
dick
one
to
crow,
animals, it's don't.
if you shoot
Yeah.
one crow, they will all shoot you.
Wait, they shoot
All the
you.
crows will shoot you. That's awesome.
pack-
no.
Heat?
They will attack you. Sorry, they will attack.
Okay,
you.
I was gonna say
they just like card 2 just pull a Glock out from back.
That'd
pull
be
the gangster
hilarious.
style.
That would be
Call,
funny.
motherfucker.
Just.
What you say? You coming in our neighborhood?
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right,
they
so
they
he's
do
just
call it a
going
murder
around.
of crows. So
A murder of crows. There you
So,
go. All right, so Shim, if
Yeah.
you would like to
Yeah.
continue, we will go ahead. I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and mute him
yeah, no problem.
so I can actually pay attention to what we're doing now.
Okay,
Yeah.
And then about
Um,
other streams. Let's talk about ours.
okay.
Back to the slide.
All right. Chapter 3, The Imperial Guests. 3 people stood there in the lavishly decorated room, all looking nervous and standing straight-backed as they awaited the chamber's owner, Yuki, the man who came to the Empire and immediately shot up to the rank of commander. To them, the story of Yuki was not any sort of surprise. After all, Yuki was their boss, the leader of the Cerberus secret society. Hey, he said when he finally came in. Sorry to keep you waiting. You could have sat down, you know. With him was Kagali, standing politely toward the rear like a secretary. Not at all, Sir Yuki, one man among the visitors said. We remain your faithful servants. You hardly need to be considerate of us. This man was Damrata the Money, one of the Cerberus's 3 boss-level officials. He was a hard man to grasp, all greasy and shady-looking. The other 2 were Misha the Lover, a beautiful woman with strange air about her, at times looking like both a young girl and mature woman, and Vega the Power, whose supple, well-balanced, carnivore-like body dominated anyone who laid upon her. This was the trio at the top of Cerberus's operations. They all saluted Yuki before sitting down. First, let us congratulate you on reaching the rank of commander. Yes, as someone who survived an encounter with the Demon Lord Guy, I was sure you could do it, Sir Yuki. Pfft. Let me at that force. Taking over a division would be child's play. Damrata and Misha expressed their good wishes to Yuki. Vega, on the other hand, didn't seem so impressed, but Yuki didn't let it bother him. You're right, I think, he pondered with an internal sneer. You really could be part of the 100, but after that, you'd never hold out. No way anyone could ask you to command anything. You wouldn't stand a chance. Well, I have to thank you, Damrata, he said, changing the subject, for intervening on my behalf with Lord Ghidorah. Oh, don't be silly. It was all anticipation for this moment, Sir Yuki. All I did was introduce Lord Ghidorah to an otherworlder you secured for us, so there's hardly any need to thank me that much. You're always so stiff, Damrata. Why don't you just accept my gratitude for a change? I'm afraid I cannot, sir. I don't want you to expect more from me than I can provide. That's a funny joke. Yuki looked at Damrata and grinned. That brought the point across well enough. After many years, they each trusted in each other's abilities. After a shared laugh, Yuki moved to the main topic. Now, Kigali, brief us on what the Demon Lord Rimuru is doing. Yes, Sir Yuki. The Demon Lord Rimuru is currently, with his order, Kigali began her briefing. Her information mainly came from members of the Free Guild who remained in the West. The majority of Yuki's agents there had fled, but several had used that as cover to become underground spies. Kigali went over everything in her clear voice. Rimuru had total control over the Western nations and was using it to form an army of fearsome size, preparing it for an imperial invasion. She covered all of that and more, alongside some unbelievable phenomena occurring in the capital city of Rimuru. Oh, so they've designed the lodging town along the Great Emeld River as a military base, said Yuki. Oh, that's him, said Yuki. Yeah, and if they're going to put defensive lines in their own nation, they'd have to do that, huh? Indeed, Kaguli replied. There are already nearly 20,000 troops stationed at that base. They are using something called magitrains for material transport, so they likely stored up enough food resources to survive a siege. That's Tempest for you. The Empire is not going to have an easy win there. I agree. They're importing food supplies from Farminus, so they've got enough to feed a population of several million. The nation as a whole is far more powerful than it was a year ago, and I'd say they could fight off the Empire all by themselves. Plus, the Council of the West is now entirely controlled by the Demon Lord Rimuru. If they can collate on the Western forces as a cohesive whole, that would be substantial too. You think so? I'm sure Rimuru tries to be thorough with everything, but he's pretty naive as far as I'm concerned. He probably figures that pitting numbers against numbers will just lead to more casualties, so I bet he wants to chase off the Empires with just his elites. That's ridiculous. I doubt someone like a Demon Lord would attempt something so foolish, Damrata added. He and Kigali discounted the idea, but that didn't change Yuki's mind. No, seriously, he really is that naive. But between that and how freakishly strong he is, I feel like he could actually do something. Despite his thoughts, he asked Kigali to keep going. Thank you. Continuing with the briefing, the capital of Rimuru has a force of over 50,000 on standby, and reinforcements are streaming in from the former Eurasania. Their total fighting power will likely surpass 100,000 in the end. That's pretty amazing, but it still gives the Empire a big advantage. Certainly. The numbers don't compare. The Empire has over 1 million, and their foot soldiers have been undergoing some kind of weird modifications too. I think even the lowest infantry would rank at least as C, and considering all their bizarre armaments as well, honestly, I don't think they stand a chance. Those were Kagali's honest feelings. Yes, 100,000 pairs of boots on the ground was impressive, especially given their expert training and high morale. Normally, Tempest would be worthy of high praise, but compared with the Empire's full outfit, it simply paled by comparison. Even the defenses Kigali built for her castle back when she was a Demon Lord, Kazalim, or when she was the Demon Lord, Kazalim wouldn't hold out against the violent charge of the Empire's numbers. A mere 100,000 faced with that maelstrom meant nothing, but Yuki had different ideas. I'll keep your advice in mind. Keep going. Right. Now, moving on to their nation's technology. Ali continued reporting the facts. Tempest had suddenly begun offering a variety of curious goods for sale. Tools to make life more convenient, for example, and fancy high-end weaponry. They served different purposes, but they were all very effective gadgets. A lot of buyers wanted to sign exclusive contracts with the developers of those goods. But try as they might, none of the merchants had figured out where they were coming from. Their origins remained a mystery. The magitrains I mentioned are another example, but as with the Empire, we're seeing a wave of technological innovation. Unfortunately, they are doing a thorough job with preventing information leaks. The Free Guild members weren't able to trace these goods back to their creators. They were probably being developed internally. That much was clear, but nobody had any idea where. It frustrated Kigali as well, but they couldn't send her out to deal with the Demon Lord Rimuru herself. If she aroused suspicion again, it'd be all over, so Yuki couldn't push his inner circle like that. Then Kigali suddenly recalled something. If you think about it, they must be developing new kinds of weapons too. Considering that, perhaps we should be concerned about more than the size of their armies. Yuki gave this a grin. I thought you noticed that. You're right, though. I was surprised to see the Empire developing tanks, but Rimuru's not far behind with his trains either. It's not like the Empire has exclusive license for scientific weaponry, so it'd be stupid to look to that for an advantage. No, the Empire wasn't the only side of this fight with Otherworlder tech. Rimuru retained all his Otherworlder memories, so there's no telling what kind of weapon he might decide to fund. If the Empire were fighting any normal nation, that opponent would have been shaken to the core by all its mysterious firepower. Even if that opponent had Otherworlders, the knowledge they'd learned from them would only add to the despair. The difference in fighting ability would become clear as day. And they'd understand that there was no chance of winning, but what if the other side had the technical skill to develop the same kinds of things? They'd immediately work out the countermeasures, and any advantage would be evened out in the blink of an eye. In fact, if one side trusted in their tech too much, they'd have the tables turn and lose terrain on their foe so quickly that it'd make their heads spin. Yuki had seen all this, and by his estimate, he thought Rimuru's chances of victory weren't at all minor. Ridiculous, interjected Vega. Just crush them then. If you're that worried about that stuff, just tear it all down. Problem solved. Whether it was a weapon or army, the eminently confident Vega thought all you had to do was trample over everything in your way. His observation demonstrated a critical lack of comprehension across the whole conversation. It made Yuki rub a hand against his head. Oh, this guy. He's so strong, but he's so stupid. Too stupid, even. If he had even a bit more brains in his head, he could be useful for something so much more. Yuki sighed. Well, if it comes to that, he said, you can be sure I'll ask you for it. But we can't misread the enemy here. That bit of ambivalence ought to have shut Vega up. Besides, he thought, in this world, quality counted for a lot more than quantity. No matter how big an army you assembled, you'd never beat the Demon Lord guy. An example that proved you could never deride the power of an individual. To reach your strategic goal, it was important to master the information war and fully gauge your opponent's abilities. The easiest way to do that was by throwing someone decently strong against your foe and seeing what happens. In addition, abandoning an unwinnable battle was a proper practice to employ. And no matter how powerful an individual foe might have been, attacking with multiple forces at once could let you overcome them. In other words, looking at a side's overall world power was meaningless. What mattered was tactical skill, how well they could effectively operate the forces at hand. Along those lines, Tempest was a troublesome enemy. Rimuru was far from the only threat. That nation had a ridiculous number of powerful magic-born. Even the big four, Benimaru, Diablo, Shion, and Gupta, were like 4 tactical units of their own. Defeating any one of them was a highly difficult mission. I doubt it's just a matter of tech. They got a lot of tough people on their side, so sheer numbers aren't going to matter with them. Guess it shows how right I was to capitulate to Guy earlier, huh? As far as Yuki knew, there were several people stronger than Gupta, which meant at least a few others were as powerful as the Big Four. My real concern is the magic-born comparable to saints or demon lords, muttered Damrata, apparently in agreement. You're right, because it's not just the Big Four with them, said Yuki. There's magic-born like Geld and Gabiru as well. It's hard to understand why all these demon lord-class people keep coming up over there. The more Yuki thought about it, the stranger it seemed. Multiple people, each with strength on the level of Clayman, in the service of Rimuru, a lone demon lord. If you were aware of that, you'd almost wish it were a joke. Lucky for us that the demon lord Rimuru isn't our enemy right now. Everyone except for Vega quietly nodded at Yuki's statement. Now they had a sort of agreement with Guy that placed them under his affiliation. Anyone who messed with Yuki and his team would be inviting the wrath of Guy upon them,
No
with
bullshit,
Yuki uninterested in challenging... Huh? What's up?
No bullshit on that, though.
Yeah, that's true. With Yuki uninterested in challenging
Okay.
Rimuru, they were met at a... Huh? What's up?
He's about to do something.
Oh no, he's at the bathtub.
No. He passed the bathtub. He passed the bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
How are you
Okay,
seeing
guys.
further ahead than I am?
Because I
Oh,
don't have lag.
in the
and
stream.
you
There's
do.
latency.
Mm.
It's not live.
Because my internet connection is better than yours.
It's
The
superior.
UDP packet's traveling faster to Richie.
Also,
Sorry.
Also, but
Numbers.
I only have a 6-second delay. You probably have a longer delay. Okay,
Mm.
so here's my thing. He's probably gonna pick up everything in this room, right?
Which room?
He just picked up the shotgun. He's gonna
Yeah, he's
walk
picking up
out of
for
this
me
room.
now.
He's gonna walk out of this room and get squished. Wait,
Have a good enough.
wait. Hold on, guys. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great.
Wait.
All right, get ready for game over, everybody. Hold on. Everybody get ready for game over. Everybody
So
ready
he's
for
just
game
stuck
over?
in this room.
No, he's not
basically.
stuck. I don't know. He's not stuck in this room. Oh, please. Yes, he equipped it. No, he's not stuck in this room. He can walk out of this room, but the ceiling in the next room will come down and squish him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's pretty much stuck in here. Like he once he leaves, he's dead.
And then he has to start all over from the beginning.
Yep.
Oof. Oof.
Door's locked.
He has to go and put it back. Or he gets squished.
The shot with the
Squeesh.
shotgun?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to.
Uh,
He doesn't. Here's the thing. He doesn't know about the broken shotgun because he never opened that fucking room.
The broken shotgun.
Dumbass. Damn. I was really hoping for a restart.
Damn.
damn. So
It's
close.
probably going to come considering how
Wanted
hard
my
the game
blood.
sounds.
I wanted my blood.
It's a
It's
pain
not
in the
hard.
ass,
He
so.
just did stupid shit to himself.
He made it hard.
Self-inflicted
No,
difficulty.
literally, he put it on hard mode. Okay, here's something you need to know about. Here's something you really need to know about Resident Evil. If you put it on hard mode, it's not something like you get tough bosses. Like it's not bullet sponge. It's not like you shoot a bunch of things and you get bullet sponges. That's not how this game works. Not at all how this game works. If you put it on harder difficulty, the ammo economy drops off a cliff. You have severely less ammo. The enemies increase. The amount of enemies that populate the environment go up.
Are they stronger too?
Depends on the
Or
game.
are they just like
It depends on which game you're playing. Sometimes
okay.
yes. Sometimes yes. Other times
But the sheer
no.
numbers alone can be very
The
messy.
numbers can be difficult. Also,
Mhm.
the enemies hit harder. They do a
Mhm.
lot more damage, which is another thing.
Mhm.
So the amount of ammo that you have, the amount of resources dwindle. And also
You have less of them and they
he went
do
the
less.
back way. He went the back way to get to. Yeah. So this is the back way, by the way.
Oh, so he's avoiding all the ways that you can get resources.
No, yeah, he literally went the back way to get to the places that we would normally get to places. So he went the backwards way to get to every place that we would normally get. Ah, yeah, here it is.
Is he going to be the big die?
Yeah. So, yeah, Edgar's an idiot, and that doesn't help that he's playing literally a survival horror puzzle game as an idiot.
Oh, well.
Yes. Also, he just missed the map for the second floor.
That's not good. Gonna probably need that.
Yep.
And he just missed his other save room. So there's that. Also, he's missing... He's wandering around. He's not picking up any of the important shit. Like, oh, there's fucking ammo in this room. Dumbass. Also,
Dummy.
here's the other important part. Puzzle difficulty scales with difficulty.
Oh.
And as
Like
we've
the
already
puzzles just
proven,
change?
and as we've already proven by the fact that this motherfucker couldn't even solve the, hey, I found this thing, where does thing go, with the basic 1% of the game he couldn't even complete without help from Moon. We're not going to be able to do puzzles. And he increased
So what you're
puzzle
saying is the run
difficulty
is
to
not going to last very long.
And then he increased puzzle difficulty to this motherfucker hasn't even saved yet.
That's a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has to start all over if he dies anyway, though, right?
No, that's not how this goes.
Oh.
You have saves. Here's the thing. On Resident Evil 1, you have manual saves, but you have a limited number of manual saves,
Which is linked to the ink ribbons, right?
okay.
which is limited to the ink ribbons. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
On Resident Evil 2 Remake, that goes away for easy and normal. On hard, you are restricted to ink ribbons again.
Damn.
So on hard mode, you're restricted to ink ribbons. However, in order to unlock infinite rocket launcher and infinite Gatling gun, you can only save 3 times throughout the entire game.
Oh.
However, if you do the Everyman version, it's actually pretty easy to make it through most of the game on just 3 saves. even on the hardest mode starting from fresh. He went through the fucking room without grabbing ammo. There was ammo in that room, you dumbass. All right, so I have to type that out.
Poor guy.
Back sheet gaming.
Backseat zombie.
Yep.
He does this to me. It's only fair.
Ammon?
Reverse
Ammon?
backseat gaming.
There's Ammon in that room.
I know I said Ammon, but like...
Amon. Hello, 10 people out there.
Yes. Also, sorry.
There's
There's
Ammon in
Ammon.
there.
There's Ammon in those...
Yeah.
There's...
Ammon.
There's Ammon in them rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Call him a Dave. Ooh.
There's ammo in them there hills.
Ooh. Dave, you gotta listen to me. There's ammo in them hills.
Okay, there you go. You damn dirty Dave. I made him say you damn dirty Dave. You damn dirty
Good.
Dave. You know what? The rest of the stream, should literally just be we drag him into a call and just ridicule him. That's what this stream should.
I mean,
Oh, God.
Oh, this guy.
I'm kind of down.
Reincarnation and roasting.
Reincarnated
Reincarnation
roasting.
and roasting.
I
No,
kinda-
reincarnation and roasting.
Do
No,
not
roasting the reincarnated.
don't tempt me. That would be so much fun for me. You know how much how much fun that would be. Oh god damn
the
it.
10
That
people.
would just mean there's more of this
Sorry
novel
guys,
to
sorry
enjoy
guys.
later.
Sorry guys, I'm sorry. That we've got to get back to it.
We should now continue to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay.
After one more text.
Okay.
He's gonna type one more thing and then.
Downstairs is a save room, and which was what I was trying to tell him, but like now I don't know what
Well.
room he went through. He's like, I could just juke the enemy, and then he gets eaten.
Well,
Ah!
Dumbass.
Ah!
All right. Anyway, downstairs is a save
Continue.
room. Also, lots of ammo.
well. Missed that. All right.
Why did he pick it up? Why did he pick up the fucking dog whistle?
he really doesn't
You know,
know
me
anything
who
about
has
this
never
game.
played this game, it's kind of funny. It's like,
You
oh,
are low
uses
health.
the dog
Use the
whistle to
damn
summon dog.
spray.
Use the fucking
Maybe
spray.
if I jab the dog whistle in my wound, it will heal me. I'll just rub it in my wound. Plug it up.
Making a lot of noise in a zombie game sounds like a smart idea.
Anyway, sorry. Please continue. This is just...
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm just going to be yelling at him this entire time.
Look at the book.
Okay. Okay.
Take a look.
I have been.
Must- in a
Put
book.
away.
It's
Uh,
League Rainbow!
Rainbow.
Richie, get on the rainbow and get off the zombies.
He's
I'm
already
not
here.
on the zombies. He
You're
is.
watching them. You're watching them.
Fucking spray. Use the
Watching us, watching
use the
them.
fucking spray.
The fucking spray.
Bro, if you want to see me
Sarah.
unhinged, it's literally this.
On Richie Unleashed.
We have to
Richie
have like
Reloaded.
a
It
game
is
stream
straight
where
up
we just
me
have
unhinged. He sounds like those people who fail miserably in the beginning of those as seen on TV products who fail at everyday life.
All like the black
Oh.
and white ones where the guys are like,
That's so mean.
Bro, Edgar is the reason why we have those little things on there that have the warning labels on products that's of the iron that says "Do not iron while wearing your clothes."
Oh, well. They're like, it's toasty.
That is very mean.
Ow!
I smell very crispy.
How could I have known this is gonna hurt? Ow!
Bro,
Ow!
that's
What's
so
that?
wrong.
Ow!
That's so
Ow!
wrong. All right, that's
Why
a
does
little.
this hurt so much?
All right, so we were
I'm
talking
trying to
about
iron
magic
my shirt.
trains and tanks. Oh my!
I
Yeah.
don't know what we're
Yeah.
talking about anymore. I lost track. Are we
Where
still
are we at, by the way?
158.
While
We're
y'all
basically,
figure
it's
that
like
out,
the
I
council
gotta
of.
go get my laundry. So
By the way,
I'll be
where
back.
the hell are
That's
we?
fair.
Yeah.
We are at the council of evil.
I thought we were.
Yuki
at
is
the
talking
is
to the other
talking-
3 people.
Yeah, Yuki's just talking.
So Yuki, what's your
insane.
next move?
Don't
Yeah, basically.
underestimate the Rimuru.
All according to the Keikaku. Keikaku means plan. Yeah,
Mm,
basically
cake.
this.
Mm.
Oh yeah, anyone
He's
who messes
basically
with
trying
the
to
game
sum
messes
up the
with gay.
situation.
This
Yes.
guy.
We are at the paragraph that starts with everyone except for Vega quietly nodded. So, everyone except for
uninterested.
Vega quietly nodded at Yuki's statement. Now they had a sort of agreement with Guy that placed them under his affiliation. Anyone who messed with Yuki and his team would be inviting the wrath of Guy upon them. With Yuki
There you go.
uninterested in challenging Rimuru, they were at an armistice, more or less. And Yuki was selfish enough to try using the situation as best as he could. Even if they faced off sometime, it'd only be after he regained his losses in the West. With that resolved in his mind, he returned to the main topic. Does that complete your report? He asked coggily. We weren't able to obtain detailed military information, so that's all the accurate intel we have. But there is one curious topic I'd like to bring up. What's that? In the capital of Rimuru, there's been ongoing disaster training taking place, and the local government recently added evacuation drills to the schedule. This training involved pretty sensible matters, running into sturdy buildings, putting out fires, that sort of thing. But the evacuation drill this time had citizens practicing fleeing into town from outside the main 4 gates. It didn't make much sense. Fleeing into town? Yes. Our investigators weren't sure what it was about, so they decided to split up and take a closer look. One on the outside and one on the inside. Exactly. Then, they said, they saw something, a strange sight that looked like a dream. A strange sight? Yes, Misha. There was an announcement, and exactly 10 minutes after that, the entire town vanished without a trace. All that remained was one single gate. According to the investigator left outside, there was some security personnel left by the gate, guiding any stragglers into a nearby cave. Once the coast was clear, the investigator braced himself and went through the gates, only to find himself in a maze-like chamber of stone walls. He quickly fled back out the gate in a panic, proving it had 2-way access. That might be their dungeon, I think, said Yuki. Do you know what it is, Sir Yuki? Damrata asked. Yeah, I think Kagali knows too. But there's a tourist attraction in town called the Dungeon, right? Correct. A structure with wandering monsters for adventurers to challenge themselves against. It's probably that. I heard a rumor that there's a whole city inside that dungeon, so... A city inside it? Damrata didn't seem ready to believe that, but Yuki and Kagali were serious. It was hard to explain to someone who didn't already know, but that was the reality. Yeah, it's a little crazy to think of normally, but, you know, it takes someone like Rimuru to make it possible. The dungeon goes down 100 floors after all, and it's guarded by Veldora at the bottom. Is that really true? Damrata questioned. Of course, I heard it from Veldora himself. That shut up Damrata pretty quickly. Kagali felt a little bad for him. But if you think about it, she said, it makes sense. Do you think this dungeon city might contain vital infrastructure for Tempest, for example, their technological development site? Ah, I see, replied Yuki. I can believe it. In fact, it makes good sense. There was no limit to what Rimuru would try. Yuki didn't even let it faze him any longer. If anything, it excited him. And while this was only a guess, he doubted he was wrong. If it was Rimuru, he concluded, it had to be true. What does this say about the war, then? That, I really don't know. I always thought that you couldn't take those guys with a normal approach, but handling a city-like defense like that? I'm sure it's going to shock the Empire. Yuki had assumed that Rimuru wouldn't fight the final battle on his own turf. He'd never let his citizens become casualties. But what if he had a surefire method to ensure every single civilian was out of harm's way? If he did, the enemy would have to rewrite their entire strategy. Yeah, so maybe they're taking a wait-and-see approach with the logic town.
Like a dungeon? Like if he could
Aid.
just like if they could just take the entire fucking city and population and just
We should take the entire
Pop it
city
into
of
a dungeon.
Tempest and push
push
him
it somewhere
somewhere else.
they can do
This
that.
is essentially the Castlevania castle, isn't
They
it?
can fucking do that. They can
Oh,
just
what if they
That's
have
awesome.
I just
No,
imagine
no, no.
they march an entire
Ramirez
army
can
into town.
literally, Ramirez can just take the entire city of Rimuru and just right to floor 30.
We're here
like,
now.
Like right to floor 94.
Yep.
And then
And they'd be
meanwhile,
fine.
the armies at the surface, they go into the town.
Or I'm sorry, 95. It's floor 95.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
special
I thought it was
zone in
weird.
floor 95. Just put it right there.
I just imagine that
Yep,
they
just-
eventually the army comes in and there's just one person like, "Hey, your demon lord's in another castle."
I'm sorry,
Not
your
even-
demon lord is on another floor.
Yeah.
Is in another plane of existence.
And then he disappears as well.
Like,
Keep in mind, they're fighting their way through the
do
entire
that.
dungeon. Meanwhile, every fucking monster in that dungeon can just respawn, but they can't.
It
Yeah,
actually
and
would be
fuck 'em
curious to
up.
see how an army would do against the
I
Hunter Floors.
would too.
My
That'd
guess-
be awesome.
My guess is not very well.
because they have
but-
Veldor at the end.
Well,
so,
hey,
I
let's
mean,
keep
Yeah.
reading. Let's keep
Oh,
reading. Maybe
yeah.
we'll find out.
maybe in volume 17 or 20. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't think we're that far yet anyway. Yeah, so maybe they're taking a wait and see approach to the lodging town. See if they wind up fighting there or not. Maybe they'll fight the real war around their capital. If the Empire forces miss the gate and pass right on by, there could be a surprise attack from the rear, kind of thing. And then the Western nation's army can pin them down from the front. They could send an advance team to examine and analyze the Empire's fighting power. Then, while the Western nations of the Empire are fighting a war of attrition, they can take their time crafting a response. What a terrifying approach to think of. He really is a demon lord. Once they understood Yuki's thoughts, Kigali, Damrata, and Misha all showed visible surprise. They knew conventional warfare wouldn't be enough to stop the demon lord Rimuru, but they hadn't thought this far. Imagining having to fight him gave them all headaches. It'd just be too hard. And now the fight between Rimuru and the Empire was starting to sound like a lot of fun to watch. So, Sir Yuki, what's your next move? Misha was waiting for the right time to ask. She and her cohorts knew Yuki took on the Demon Lord guy and lost. They remained loyal to him anyway, but they still weren't sure what exactly was on his mind. The Cerberus trio was fine with the Empire giving Rimuru and his friends a hard time, but no matter what, they wanted to avoid playing a role in that. Yuki promised Guy that he wouldn't be seriously apart or seriously support the Empire, but if he was commander now, there was every concern that he'd be caught in his own trap. For Cerberus, having an Imperial commander was on their side was extremely attractive, but it also came with the danger of getting involved in military affairs. That was an eat or be eaten world. One wrong move and they'd face annihilation. Those were the motives behind Misha's question, and Yuki was fully aware of them. You don't have to worry. If Rimuru holds out for me, that suits all of us just fine. I mean, if we want to make our ideals a reality, the Empire gets in the way of that, don't they? I want to send them to their ruins someday, and not just because Guy told me to. And now that I'm commander, I get to control the timing. Just think of it like that. Now that Yuki was one of the Empire's 3 top commanders, he knew all about their internal operations. Getting an inside view of their military strategy even let him read into the common ground he shared with them. Naturally, then, when they went on the move, he'd be able to predict the size of their forces, as well as when defenses in Imperial territory would be the lightest. If the Western nations put up a tough fight, the Empire would have to deploy that much more firepower against them. Then, no matter how stout their defenses, Yuki was sure he'd be able to find an opening. And we'll hit them when they're open, we'll hit them where they're open, Yuki said, smacking the table for effect. Kigali smiled, still standing up straight, while Damrata and the others grew excited in their seats. Are you suggesting a coup? Damrata asked. Ah, I love it, Misha gushed. Now that's the Sir Yuki I know. Sounds like a lot of fun. Empire, Demon Lord, I'll crush them all. Vega was a little too excited, maybe, but Yuki decided not to worry about it as he got back to the point. Well, that's my final goal anyway. Part of my promise with Guy was to stir up trouble with the Empire too, and I gotta live up to my end of it. I'm gonna mess around with the West too, but I don't think anyone's gonna complain about that, so... He smiled warmly. Guy hadn't warned him against that, so Yuki was free to do what he liked. Are you talking about having the Empire fight the Western nations, then taking the Empire's head in the meantime? Damrata inquired. Vicious as always, huh? Said Misha. Oh, not really, Yuki answered. I think it's a plan pretty much anyone could come up with. They would, maybe, but few would actually go through with it. Or maybe they'd try, but not be powerful and talented enough to make it happen. Yuki was the exception. Lord Ghidorah gave me a lot of information, too. That old man loves anything novel, and he's got a flexible mind. But for some reason, he just hates the Western nations. Like, to an excessive level. Or obsessive level. It's a lot of the reason why he's developed all these weapons and contributed them to the Empire. Ah, yes, that's a famous story, said Damrata. Even I was aware of that. Right. Because if he's looking for things that could crush the Empire's ambitions, you'd think he'd see the Demon Lord Rimuru as that. I'm sure it'll dawn on him once he starts messing with the guy. And then what will happen? Well, Ghidorah, or Lord Ghidorah, has a ton of influence with the Imperial military, but in terms of actual power, he's got almost none. That's because he's more interested in revenge than anything. So if I can lead him the right way, I think I can pit him against Rimuru himself. At the same time, thought Yuki, he'd like to have Ghidorah poke around for information around the dungeon. This is your way to hassle Rimuru and weaken the Empire at the same time? You got it. Yuki briskly nodded at Damrata. He wasn't going to touch Rimuru, but if someone else wanted to challenge him, they were perfectly welcome, hence all his conniving plans. He took the opportunity to discuss his thoughts in more detail. The way I see it, there are 3 people we need to watch out for in the Empire. One of them is Lord Ghidorah himself. Ghidorah was a master sorcerer, a magic-born who had lived for many, many years. People saw him as a mystery figure who knew everything that went on behind the scenes in the Imperial capital, and he was also a hero in his own right, one of the few survivors of the previous invasion attempt against Veldora. Who are the other 2? The curious Kigali asked behind Yuki. He gave her a frustrated scowl in response. Well, I don't know much about them yet, exactly. That's why I know there's so much trouble. Even with his extensive intelligence network, Yuki hadn't found these 2. Just hearing that indicated how slippery they were. Are they among the Imperial Guardians' upper ranks? Misha asked, perhaps suspecting something. Yuki gave this a vague consent. There were rumors around military circles that certain Imperial Knights, referred to as the Single Digits, were even stronger than 3 division commanders. In Yuki's opinion, this was more than just a rumor. He could feel it. Here he was, a full-fledged commander, but his own numerical ranking was still in the double digits. He could try challenging someone higher up to a ranking duel, but he had to figure out who to challenge first. Becoming a single digit required winning a battle staged in front of the Emperor, and even that fact was revealed only to those very close to earning a shot. I'm thinking that I can beat any single digit in the group, but I don't want to reveal my best moves in front of the enemy, so I haven't sent a request to the Emperor yet. Yuki became a commander despite that, thanks to some lucky connections with Lord Ghidorah. Thing is, though, even if you try taking someone on, maybe the real boss will be someone else the whole time, huh? You can't be sure about anything. So what I guess I'm saying is, there's at least 9 people you gotta watch out for. Sort of. Oh, that's Vega. Vega had a good point. It surprised Yuki as he nodded at him. Yeah, you're right. There's a chance my real nemesis is hidden among those 9. But I can't watch out for someone I've never seen before, you know. So right now, I'm looking closely at someone who's a more public figure than that. Who? Damrata asked. His name is Tatsuya Kondo. He runs the Imperial Information Bureau. Ah, yes, he is hard to grasp, isn't he? We know his name and face, but nothing else about him, Sora said Misha. It's bizarre. Tatsuya Kondo, as the name suggested, was an otherworlder. Any more personal information than that was a complete unknown. Rumors pegged him as a mysterious figure stalking the halls of information. His rank was first lieutenant, but none of the unit commanders had the right to give him orders. The Imperial Information Bureau, in other words, was higher up the hierarchy than the military itself. Yeah, it's freaky, isn't it? My guess is that he's one of the single digits too, said Yuki. I see. Put it that way, and it makes sense. Damrata and Kigali deeply nodded. Misha and pondered this as well, but had no objections. So, who do you think the other one is? Vega asked, already sounding disinterested and hoping to hurry Yuki along. Patience, okay? The first thing is to meet up with this Tatsuya Kondo. I'll see if I can request a meeting with him. So, as far the second person, she's also kind of a mystery. What do you mean by that? Calm down, Vega. Sorry. The tone of Yuki's voice as he gave Vega a light warning was warm, almost gentle, but it made Vega break into a nervous sweat. It showed, in that moment, just how wide the chasm was between those two. The second person is someone who sits next to the Emperor. I don't know who it is, but she strikes this incredible presence. I can feel her even with the Imperial set of blinds between us. Nobody knew who it was, or really, nobody except Yuki even realized someone like that existed. That made the potential danger crystal clear, or it made the potential danger crystal clear. So, there's someone always, or someone like that, always with the Emperor? Dumbrata asked, speaking for his companions. I haven't heard anything about that. I didn't think so. She felt so present in the room, but nobody notices her at all. That has to be bad news. The room fell silent for a moment. And you're sure she was there? I haven't even heard of rumors of such a figure. Well, look at it another way. If we had heard that from anyone except Sir Yuki, we never would have believed it, right? Yuki smiled at his doubtful underlings. It's no big deal. Just remember, if I attempt to stage a coup in the Empire, those 3 are probably going to get in our way. I'll eliminate Lord Ghidorah first, so... The Murata, can you look into Tatsuya Kondo for me? Absolutely. And Misha, keep up with your current mission. Understood. I will continue engaging with the commander of the Armored Division. What about me? Vega asked. You're going to go undercover in the Magical Beast Division. With your muscle, you'll get an Imperial Guardians in a flash. But whatever you do, don't kill the division commander, all right? Sure. I'll try not to. Vegas flashed a ferocious smile, glad to finally be on duty. Is he really going to be all right? Fretted Yuki, but he decided to trust him anyway. If the leader did get killed, that'd delay the Empire's entire military operation, which was a concern, but Yuki opted not to worry about it unless it happened. The 3 heads of Cerberus left the chamber, leaving...
Stop.
Oh, sorry.
You can stop now. That's more than enough reading. Holy cow.
I need water.
Yeah, I bet. All right, Moon, take over.
The 3 heads of Cerberus.
Yep.
The 3 heads of Cerberus left the chamber, leaving Yuki alone with Kagami. Sir Yuki, do you think they'll all put it off? Or pull it off?
Don't.
Yeah.
Well,
Who knows? I thought I was being pretty careful, and then I caught a tiger named Guy by the tail. I'm not in any position to say this, but I sure hope they can. Dumrata was off investigating Tatsuya Kondo. Misha was attempting to inveigle herself with the Magical Beast Division commander. And Vega was about to embark on a standout career in the Composite Division. These were dangerous missions, and they were doing them all for Yuki's sake. As their leader, he'd have to trust in their success. But we've finally made it to this point, haven't we? The battle's about to begin. It sure is. Yeah, it sure is. It'll be fun to see who wins. As if you can just sit back and watch. Even if you pull off that coup, the hard part comes after that. Yeah, I have Laplace and the gang working on that for me. I got everything covered. The 2 shared a smile. Their mission wasn't to have the Empire win. The longer they could drag out this upcoming war, the weaker the Empire would become. That's what they wanted. And the fate of Yuki and Kagali's plan rode on whether the ensuing coup... What?
Not you. Him.
Oh, well. Anyways, the ensuing coup attempt succeeded or failed. First, we make the Emperor our puppet and establish a new empire. Then, why don't we forge a peace treaty with the Western nations? And then, well, we'll have the Emperor assassinated. If the Demon Lord Rimuru proved too hard to kill, there was no need to force that. Guy had defeated Yuki fair and square, and with that, Yuki gave up on conquering the world in the short to mid-term time frame. Until he had the kind of absolute power he needed, he now realized trying to get his way with violence was the height of folly. For now, he thought, adding more winning cards to his hand needed to be his focus. And if the war kept raging and more blood could be shed, then I'll awaken a true Demon Lord once more. That's what I'm hoping to hear from you, Then I'll awaken a true Demon Lord once more. That's what I'm hoping to hear from you, Kagami. And by then, I ought to be able to fully use all the new powers I got. Yuki had awoken to an ultimate skill. Already, he could feel his lifespan extending. And now he knew the truth. There were those greater than him, people like the Demon Lord Guy, ruling over the world with absolute force. Conquering that world without addressing them would be a fantasy. For now, best to slip under Guy's radar and build up force. He'd stir up the Empire, keep the war going, and weaken both the East and West. Once pessimism set in, and everyone was weary of war, if he could take that moment to assassinate the Emperor, the world would face an even more appalling age of chaos. They could ride that chaos, he and Kigali, and awaken yet more within themselves. And that, in essence, was the plan. Well, keep being careful, though. Of course, Sir Yuki. Keep being careful. Once more, they looked at each other and smiled. Even two intelligent schemers like them didn't see the dungeon as a very important factor. They just saw it as a neat way for Tempest to hide their top-secret facilities, even a town for that matter, and they figured bringing it to Lord Ghidorah's attention would be a good way to drive Rimuru nuts. They may be visiting it themselves someday, so they'd figured it'd be a good idea to have it checked out for clues on how to crack it. But neither of them spent much time thinking about it. Thanks to that, when their dungeon runners came back with a rather unexpected report, Yuki paid it no mind. Upon learning what Yuki showed him, Lord Ghidorah wrenched up his face, deep in thought. Right when it's time to put our empire on the move and defeat the god Luminous, too. With Veldor resurrected, they had to embark on a major rewrite of their plans. That couldn't be avoided. The last time they staged a campaign this large, the Storm Dragon crushed the whole thing. Now, in order to ensure their plan was impenetrable, some wanted to wait until the Storm Dragon fully disappeared from existence. Some wanted to tame him with the power of the new weapons they successfully developed. Others wished to point their armies around the Forest of Jura to avoid riling the Storm Dragon. Opinions were split evenly among the three factions, delaying the Empire's movements, and thanks to that, they went and let the Storm Dragon revive itself. This greatly angered the Warhawks in the Tame the Storm Dragon faction, but the more mainstream minds in the other two groups didn't give them room to speak. If those new weapons didn't work after all, their hopes were dashed a second time. In Ghidorah's mind, the Storm Dragon didn't really matter. His mission, the reason he kept living, was to eradicate Luminism from the West and take revenge against the 7 Days clergy who killed his best friend. A newspaper he ordered from the West contained an article outlining the 7 Days clergy's evil deeds. Under the headline, "The Heroes Decline," he also knew, at the same time, about reports that the 7 Days clergy were slain. But Ghidorah refused to accept this at face value. At the very least, he was sure Grin, the Sunday priest, was alive and lurking in the muck somewhere. Over the past few months, information from the West had grown garbled and entangled, and it was hard to investigate much of it. Thanks to that, he had no way to confirm it, but there were rumors that the Rozos had been toppled as well. But it's all rumors. I'm sure Grin was what ultimately became of that one hero. He may have been old, but he was no adversary to sniff at. What's more, while the council seemed to be on sure footing, Ghidorah had confirmed some serious goings-on behind the scenes. Nothing he heard, however, indicated that the Western Holy Church had weakened at all. That was proof positive, in Ghidorah's eyes, that Grin was alive. It'd be so easy to ignore the Storm Dragon and just invade the West, but no. Ghidorah's thoughts were along those lines, but even he knew how difficult that would be. So the Storm Dragon is teaming up with the Demon Lord. It would be sheer stupidity to position an army against a monster like that, living outside any sort of reasoned magic. I helped construct the theories behind our new weapon, and it should be possible to stop him in his tracks, at least. But destroy him? That's another story. And forget about ever taming him. As a survivor of the Empire's last campaign, he had personal insight into the threat Veldor posed. The experience taught him that the Warhawks were being far too harsh. Those fools completely failed to understand how hard it is to rule over a spiritual life form with a spirit of your own. It wasn't impossible. They had conducted experiments on demons along those lines, and some of the results had been encouraging. Ghidorah knew that well enough. He came up with the theory for the work, so of course he would. But based on their verified results, he concluded that Veldora was strictly off-limits. He had submitted a report to the Emperor along those lines, but sadly, he was shut down. If someone wants to try it, he was told, let them. Regardless, the problem now was Rimuru, a demon lord who built a nation and unified the Forest of Jura at an astonishing pace. If he had teamed up with the Storm Dragon, attacking the forest would have been nothing but foolish. If the entirety of the Empire's military were deployed for the effort, that would be one thing. But to make the most But to make the most effective use of such a force, they'd need to lure the enemy into more advantageous terrain, and that was an impossibility. What then, if they must fight the enemy on their own turf? The dungeon, eh? And they might be developing otherworld weapons as well. We must investigate this. If we could defeat Veldora and Rimuru while losing less than, say, a third of our force, I'd call it a fine job. Otherwise, we have no chance of winning against the Western nations at the end of it. The words were mostly directed at Ghidorah himself. Well, whatever. But he was making a mistake. He thought that Luminism and the Western nations supporting it would be where they'd make their stand, not Tempest. And whether he picked up on this error in judgment would be key to deciding his fate going forward. Following Yuki's orders, 3 people were put on assignment, selected for their spots in the composite division and having an acquaintance with Lord Ghidorah. They would all be meeting today, and Yuki had invited Ghidorah to his personal chamber for the occasion. The first was Shinji Tanimura, formerly a college student in Japan who spent most of his days holed up in a university research lab. He still retained his beloved white lab coat, which had become his trademark here. The second was Mark Lauren, a muscular brown-haired man in his mid-20s. He was the oldest of the trio, a buff bodybuilder type who'd go around in a tank top and jeans even in winter. The third was Jin Lujing. Young and taciturn, it was hard to gauge his thoughts, but he always did what he was told. His long braided black hair ran down his back, and he preferred comfortable traditional Chinese-style clothing, under which, it was said, he hid a litany of assassin's weapons. Shinji had evolved to become the leader of this group, Mark and Jin taking orders from him, and now they stood up straight before Yuki and Ghidorah. It is an honor to see you after so long, said the dark-haired Shinji, speaking for his group. Yes, long it certainly has been, said Ghidorah. And Mark and Jin, I trust you two are doing well? Yeah, really well. Glad you're still okay too, old man. I am not feeling that well, my lord.
Such interesting voice choices.
My lord.
Am I reading it wrong?
No, but I like them. It's such interesting voice choices. That's not a
You
bad
old
thing.
man.
It's just an interesting thing.
Ghidorah cheerfully smiled at Mark and Jin. Good. The same as always, then. I understand you're working hard in your squadrons as well. It's quite a relief to
Here's my
hear.
question for the 3 of you. Have you figured out who Ghidorah's friend is? Ghidorah has a friend in Luminism who was killed. Have you figured out who it is?
Oh,
Wait. Is it the white?
Yes!
Skeletor!
Oh, okay.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I knew it!
Skeletor!
I'll get you,
Oh,
Rimuru!
oh no, he's not. Oh no,
That's
he's not about to do what I think he's gonna do.
What's he doing?
Hold on.
With
we're
no
interrupting our
fucking
normal
ammo
program for this
and
breaking
knife
news.
only, is he going to call the goddamn dog?
He might-
dog rounds, knife only.
I'm assuming he's going into a
Continue
boss
reading.
round. Very, very, very underprepared.
It's
Not
not,
a
a
boss
boss
round,
It's
just
not a boss
dogs.
round. It's just really
Dogs are
stupid.
not easy to kill with just a knife.
Yeah.
You want a
Catch
guy.
me his sour.
You have to actually kill the knife and kill the dog and take the
Kill
collar
the
off
knife.
the dog. You have to kill the
I don't
dog.
think that's.
You can't kill the knife. You can't kill the knife.
I don't think. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that's physically possible.
Kill the
Anyway.
knife.
Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
Shinji
I
and his
don't
friends
think
were
he's
otherworlders.
saved. Right before
Probably not.
this.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Shinji and his friends were otherworlders placed under Yuki's guidance. He provided care for people like them from all over the world. They were sent to the Empire to live, whether they had skills suited for battle or not. There, they'd be received by the Cerberus secret society, and then Lord Ghidorah, the sorcerer, would see to them. Lord Ghidorah, the sorcerer, would see to them. His mission was to gain what otherworld information he could, and if the otherworlders had a talent for combat and were interested in pursuing it, Ghidorah would also train them. This was what chiefly constituted the composite division. Well-trained otherworlders with a litany of skills. Of course, simply being from another world didn't guarantee you a top officer rank in the Empire. They became excellent soldiers because they knew how to correctly harness their powers, the unique skills they manifested for themselves. And Shinji had used his own unique skill to establish a firm, secure role in the military. Yeah, these three are front. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, these three are frontline talents in my composite division. I think that they'll be perfect for this new investigation. Oh, no, that was Yuki. Yeah, these three are frontline talents in my composite division. I think they'll be perfect for this new investigation. If you believe so, Sir Yuki, then I have no complaints. Please, all of you have a seat. The trio meekly took the austere sorcerer's advice. Ghidorah looked at them, smiling a bit. Seeing these full-fledged soldiers still act so nervous around him was an amusing sight, but he couldn't sit there grinning about it forever. Now, Sir Yuki, you're going to let me borrow this trio for our investigation? Yeah, I wanted to go there myself, but I can't really show my face around Tempest at the moment, you know? And I'd be anxious about sending just the three of them over, so I was hoping you could oversee them for me, my lord. I had a look at the report you sent. If what's written in there is true, I think we do need to examine this in more detail before launching our full campaign. Ghidorah eyed Yuki, sizing him up and awaiting his reaction. Yuki, aware of this, nodded back. It's all true, every word of it. I'll be briefing all three of you on this in a moment, but this is going to be kind of a unique mission. Basically, there's this labyrinth I want you to investigate for us. Who is this? Mark, okay. Whoa, hang on. You called us all here for some kind of obstacle course training? Is that how little you trust us? Even if Lord Ghidorah is enlisting us, I really don't think this is something we need to do before a full-scale military invasion. Mark, the most short-fused of the group, was the first to flare up. Come on. This was common enough to see. Yuki encouraged them to ask questions on matters until they had an answer they were satisfied with.
Fucking did it.
Is he dead?
Ooh.
Or did he actually? No.
He pulled it off?
No, he didn't
No.
pull it off.
Okay.
He used
Oh, he
the
actually
dog
just did
whistle
it.
with no ammo and a knife on him. That's it.
He's gonna die.
I didn't say he did it because he managed to pull it off. I said he did it because he did the dumb.
Mm.
Oh,
Don't worry, he's gonna die
the
soon.
doom.
All right. Yeah. Calm down, Mark. This is important.
Mm-hmm.
But wait a sec, Mark. I'm sure Yuki's got a good reason for this. So let's just hear him out, okay? Shinji said before facing Yuki. Would you mind filling us in, then? Of course. And trust me, once you hear it all, you won't be complaining. So Yuki carefully went over the trio's assignments. All the dots. Ghidorah had already given his approval beforehand, so he silently listened, making sure there weren't any discrepancies. Shinji and his friends were shocked. Across the force, Yuki had his protégés in place. Well-trained and blessed with unique skills, and they had laid low in their respective posts up to now. The idea was that, when the time came, they'd bare their fangs and take over their respective squadrons. Yuki hadn't filled them in on the details,
Wow, he actually
but everyone
did do
thought
it.
that the moment... Nice. Everyone thought that the moment was near. Shinji and his friends were part of this, and now that Yuki had full control of the composite division, they figured it was just a matter of time before the order came. World conquest. When Yuki first told them about this childish-sounding dream, nobody thought he could actually do it. But as they polished their skills and learned how this new world worked, they all began to think it wasn't so impossible after all. Shinji and his team practically adored him at this point. Everyone was eagerly awaiting the moment, and then this dungeon assignment arrived out of nowhere. The trio couldn't be blamed for their confusion, but as Yuki explained matters, they began to reconsider. Out of all the preparation and investigation they had done for this upcoming war, only the dungeon remained unexplored, and it was likely that some kind of important secret was being hidden in this maze. If word had it that an entire town was hidden deep in its chambers, they weren't going to take that sitting down. More dots. I see now. So the Empire can't ignore this dungeon in their operations, huh? And there's a town inside? I'm never gonna believe that until I see it. And we're going in there? Shinji's team had to accept it. So that's the long and short of things. You see what I mean now, though? If the Empire's campaign takes it into the Forest of Jura, we're planning to stage our military coup once the front lines are stretched out far enough. When we do, we're hoping to attract as much of the army as we can. The Demon Lord Rimuru and the Storm Dragon aren't enough to make the Empire deploy the total brunt of their forces. I want a stronger reason for them to do that. Maybe the Labyrinth could be that reason. Or not. If it didn't live up to the hype, Yuki explained, they'd fabricate something else.
Okay, so it's begun.
Oh no. Red eyes?
Begins.
Crimson eyes have started to get up.
Oh boy.
Yep. Also, he hasn't even finished using the other 2 keys. He hasn't even opened the other 2 doors with the regular key, and he's such a dumbass.
So much pain.
He hasn't even tried the Yuki.
He hasn't even
Sorry.
been able to deal
Please
with the
continue.
Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Please
yet.
continue. Please continue. The roast of Edgar will commence shortly.
They'd fabricate something else, and with the time that'd buy them, Yuki and his personal team would seize the Empire's capital, or Imperial capital. This came as a surprise to Shinji's trio. They had seen a coup attempt coming, but this was the first time they were let in on the details. Plus, Ghidorah himself was in the room. Wouldn't talking about it right in front of him cause a leak? Yuki. Shinji tried to stop him, but Yuki just smiled and waved it off. No, don't worry. Lord Ghidorah knows all about my plans. Huh? And why wouldn't I? I have a personal obligation to the Emperor, but his empire? That means nothing to me. My mission is to destroy Luminism. I had no idea the Demon Lord Luminous led that religion herself. It took me completely by surprise. I have zero interest in Luminism's followers, but I will never rest until I personally take down those who killed my friend. I'd like to begin by taking care of the Demon Lord Rimuru. They say he's close friends with Luminous. That is why I'm planning to join you in this labyrinth conquest. Beyond that, Ghidorah said with a crazed grin, he didn't much care what happened.
Wait till he finds out that his friend is in the labyrinth.
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. Ghidorah, what are you doing here?
My
Have
good
you pledged
friend!
yourself for Rimuruism?
Joke's on you!
What?
I'm into that shit!
that shit.
Wait, he's about to face his first crimson head.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
We interrupt your normal program for this breaking news.
It's locked from the other side because you never unlocked it, you dumbass!
Use the
Poor guy.
spears!
Oh yeah, just try every fucking door, stupid. Hey, guess what? All those zombies you haven't burned, they getting back up like that.
Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't have the
Anyways.
flamethrower to burn them with.
He had, of course, heard the stories about Rimuru. 1 year earlier, the kingdom of Farmus was toppled after it attracted the ire of Veldora. A fit of rage drained the Storm Dragon's energy and allowed Rimuru to recruit him for his own purposes. Ghidorah didn't know whether this was a master-servant relationship or more of a cooperative arrangement, but the Storm Dragon had shown no signs of activity since, his massive aura no longer detectable. To Ghidorah, the rumors seemed plausible to some extent. There were also moves being made among the other demon lords. Several had dropped out of the 10 great demon lords. The remainder regrouping into the so-called Octagram. They had notified human society of this, and Ghidorah was positive the Demon Lord Rimuru played a major role. After all, Rimuru joined their ranks just as Clayman, one of the former 10 great demon lords, disappeared. It proved that, in the end, Rimuru was simply more powerful than him. Clayman was a crafty demon lord, one you underestimated at your own peril, but Rimuru, as a demon lord who was an even greater threat... No, wait. As a demon lord, was an even greater threat.
Also, here's the other thing that he was sitting here talking shit about. He was like, man, it's really nice that when you kill your enemies, they drop ammo. And I was like, they don't do that in RE1.
No.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
introduce the mechanic of your enemies drop ammo until Resident Evil 4.
Why are they dropping ammo?
Which that kind of makes sense. You're fighting actual people that are possessed and shit.
Yeah, they carry
Possessed.
they carry stuff like money and ammo and things like that.
Social
them.
Security.
Well,
No.
because there's a difference between a virus and a parasite.
Oh,
Also, I did learn something new in Resident Evil 3. The Tyrant is a combination of the Plagas and the T virus or the G virus. I'm not sure which virus he has, but the Tyrant in RE3 was developed in Europe, and they used a parasite for it. So it's a combination of, I think, T virus and Plagas. So,
I wonder what a combination between the G virus and the T virus would be then.
T and G, you get the hunters.
Ah.
Yeah. Which do actually show up in RE1. Sorry.
What's more, Rimuru had opened up diplomatic relations with humanity, strengthening his influence with the Council of the West. Ghidorah couldn't say what the Western nations thought about this, but he knew that riling Rimuru would be a very dangerous act. But something else was on his mind. Farmus, he knew, sent an army of some 20,000 soldiers to attack Tempest, and only 3 of them survived. One had since been killed, so that left no one but the former king and Razin, his ex-apprentice. I will need to question Razin about this, Ghidorah thought, making a mental note. Ghidorah thought, making a mental note. But there still remains far too much that's unclear with this demon lord Rimuru.
When he questions Razin and finds out, oh, we lied. It wasn't Veldora. Rimuru did all of
So
that.
we gotta look. I gotta be real with you.
And here's the thing. He wasn't even a demon lord then.
oh.
No.
Just
He had a
held
minor
back.
spell
Just
with a
him.
major freaking
20,000 soldiers all by
It's what happened
himself.
when we killed. It's what happened when we killed his purple babe secretary. He was just having a fit that day. That's the thing, sir. He was just feeling cocked.
He literally did all this. He was just throwing a tantrum. Imagine if you actually made him angry.
We cock-blocked him,
Angry.
sir.
Oh, God. Ghidorah wasn't about to let his guard down. Farmus's forces were wiped out by the Storm Dragon.
He just
The
hit
report
us with
said.
his splooge.
Damn splooge.
But there was
Oh,
no
Dr.
physical
Dre.
evidence backing this up.
Okay.
Sorry.
That in
Continue.
itself was unnerving.
Yeah.
In normal wars, a warring faction would generally be considered to fail its
So
objective
how does
if
it
it lost
feel to be
30%
the shim
of its
of
personnel.
How does it feel to be the shim of the group? When
I knew it was
Sonic just
coming at
starts
some point.
randomly interrupting you. Yeah.
No. I only did the one at the end.
It does get to the point where I'm just going to continue reading, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be your guys' fault. I will get however far I get. Shit.
In, like,
Fail
what,
its
2 minutes?
objective, 30% of its personnel. That'd be the point a commander would issue a surrender.
Literally,
But there was no
the
record
entire
Farmus ever
comment
attempted
section-
one.
The entire comment section for Edgar is just me.
Yeah, One could interpret this as the Storm Dragon refusing to take prisoners, but Ghidorah saw that as unlikely. He was a survivor from their past campaign, after all, and he knew Veldora's personality well. As a fighter, he was, in a word, imprecise. He wasn't the type to pursue fleeing foot soldiers. He'd cause huge amounts of damage, but it all happened in one big wave with no follow-up. Considering this fighting style, a force of 20,000 being 99.9999% annihilated was a bit too much to swallow. So did Rimuru do something? Based on what Ghidorah knew about his personality, that seemed unlikely too. In his mind, this was one demon lord who spared the lives of those who gave in to him. This, on the other hand, was a massacre. I suppose Veldora really did do them all in, then, before they... Shut up. Did do them all in, then, before they had a chance to surrender. It was honestly a terrifying thought. The exact reason why a full frontal conflict had to be avoided. And he had a plan for that. Rimuru was another worry for him, but he was about to investigate him, and they could work out a response after that. That was enough to reassure Ghidorah for now. He had no personal vendetta against Rimuru, but if he was working in tandem with Luminous, he was an enemy. He had to be defeated. though Ghidorah
Oh.
had no intention of reckless attempts on his life. Ghidorah had spent many years honing his plan, and now he'd moved the Empire toward invading the Western nations. They were one step away from all that. He couldn't afford to rush this part and send everything crashing down. He was careful, very careful, with every move he made. Ghidorah and Yuki shared the same interests, and after conversing about them, they agreed to work in tandem, sharing information with each other and becoming comrades in arms. But Shinji was still shocked at how casually Yuki revealed such secrets. He wanted everyone to take a step back, and it was obvious why. Wait, if this goes bad, we could all be rubbed out. Shinji, being no fool, didn't think his group was being trusted that much, but he didn't think they were seen as disposable pawns either. They were being tested, he believed, and Mark and Jin felt the same way. All right, we'll investigate as best we can. This'll be fun, old man, and I promise we won't drag you down in there. I'll do my best. This was clearly an important mission. They had to produce results, in fact. As Shinji now realized, producing results was how they'd guarantee their survival. Right, then let me ask you all. Do you know how many demon lords there are? Sure, 8, right? Huh? Huh? Weren't there 10? Or did it go up to 11? The lineup changed a year ago, Mark. Ghidorah sighed. Shinji, he said, raising his voice, you need to make sure that fool receives the right information. Any soldier who can't gather intelligence is going to wind up on the chopping block first. He took a moment to catch his breath. There are 8 demon lords in an arrangement known as the Octagram. They style themselves as akin to 8 stars in the sky, and with at least some of them, it's not far from reality. I bring this up because your target here is Rimuru, the so-called newbie of this Octagram. You must never let your guard down around him. Furthermore, there is another demon among this group known as the Labyrinth Master. What do you make of that? The trio nervously gulped. Even Yuki looked at Ghidorah surprised. Are they involved, Shinji carefully asked, with the labyrinth we're exploring? Ghidorah nodded gravely, then handed them a book. It spoke of a labyrinth, a safe haven for spirits located in the Republic of Urgracia to the west. The stories told of a vast maze under the ground or in the sky, but this was correct and incorrect in equal measure. What this book revealed was that this haven was home to more than spirits. It also housed a queen who had transformed her body from a spiritual form to that of a fairy. That fairy queen is Ramirez, the Labyrinth Master, one of the oldest demon lords. The facts hit Ghidorah's audience like a ton of bricks, but he wasn't done yet. The door to this labyrinth of hers was located in Urgur Nature Park, but now it has vanished. I investigated this myself, so there is no doubting it. Based on what I was told, it disappeared around the same time Rimuru declared himself a demon lord. Soon after, his nation revealed their own dungeon. Well, chimed in Yuki, that pretty much settles it, huh? I was wondering how they built a labyrinth like that, but now I'm positive the demon lord Ramirez created it. She and Rimuru must be allies. Yuki was sure of it, and he gave a bracing smile. No one on Shinji's side had the words to deny it. And that brought them all down. Now it felt like this mission just became far more difficult. I'll be counting on you. I'll be counting on you, said Ghidorah. Make sure to stay on your guard, okay? Yuki reminded the trio. Then, after another warning about the terrifying craftiness of the Demon Lord Rimuru, the 3 of them left. The day after this meeting, Yuki's secretary...
That's it.
Or
That's where we're stopping.
Look.
Yeah.
Ending it here.
We're going to stop.
There's
I
too
think it's
much
interesting how you-
token.
There's a big old dot right there that I see.
Big old
Dot.
dots.
So that'll put us at page 157 on the physical copy.
170 on the Bookwalker copy.
Okay.
and about 182.
47%.
All right, guys. That's going to be where we call it for this portion.
Yes.
This
I
portion.
do think it's interesting how, Moon, that you voice Yuki as like an evil Rimuru
Whimsical.
counterpart.
Well, I mean,
Well, kind of
in
more
the
lighthearted,
English
like
dub,
evil Rimuru. Yeah.
in the English dub, that's what he sounds like too. He's got a much
Okay.
higher pitch, not as high as Rimuru, obviously, but he's a
Okay.
much higher pitch, and he's charismatic.
Okay, that's good because I haven't seen the dub, so I thought he was kind of like this evil,
It's
like
been a bit, yeah.
low voice, like
No,
scheming.
Yuki's like he's got the
Colonel.
body of a 16-year-old.
Colonel.
No.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Colonel, there's some weird
Charisma,
slime guy here.
charisma. Well, guys, thank you so much. We're gonna raid Edgar because why the fuck not?
Right. And we're gonna
Thanks.
shame him.
We're gonna raid him and shame him. We're gonna shame him for being
Raid and shame.
such a...
This is a shaming, not a rating.
This is a shaming, not a rating. So it's the shame raid. It's the shame raid. Why not? Yeah.
You all every time when
Shame,
we
shame.
get in there, you all must chant shame, shame,
Shame.
shame.
Well, just
shame.
one
Shame
long
in the
shame.
chat.
Just one long shame. Just shame. Okay, not nearly that long.
Shame, shame, shame.
Not...
Oh wait, no. I can't.
Except
Wow,
for
the
Shim.
pipes on this one.
Except for Shim.
Yeah.
He just says Shim.
Shim.
Yes.
But guys, thank you
That's
so much
me.
for coming by. I know we kind of got off track a lot. That's okay. It happens.
Wait, the 12 days of Christmas.
I'm not doing that on the stream.
You said it was at the end. We
Yes,
do
the
it.
end after stream.
This is the end of the stream. You didn't say
I
after.
didn't say I was doing it on the stream.
You didn't say
That's
after
true.
either.
He didn't.
I didn't say I was doing it on the stream.
Semantics. Moving on.
I'm always up
Yes.
for some antics.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha!
I never said I was doing anybody's stuff on the stream. I just said I would look at it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anyway, I know.
You bitch.
You bitch. Anyway,
You can't call.
You
can't
know
call
how
Richie
long
a
I
bitchy.
spent on that?
She'll get
4
mad at
minutes.
you.
20 minutes. Okay.
all right. So yeah,
20 minutes of my life gone.
Wah, someone called the ambulance.
Ambulance.
Ambulance. I
All right,
will.
guys, there
And
we
I'll
are.
fork you the bill.
You guys have a good one. We will see you next time. Raid now.
Yep. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
See you over there.
Bye.